Welcome back to Hannity. CIA Director John Brennan is making headlines after an interview with NBC News where he said that he would never bring back the use of enhanced interrogation techniques. Watch this.
We've learned lessons from the past. We have a lot of capabilities and competencies and skills, and so I don't believe that we need to resort to certain types of tactics.
Like waterboarding?
Absolutely, I would not agree to having any CIA officer carrying out waterboarding again. This organization will do what it can to protect the American public from the attacks from terrorist groups. I will not agree to carry out some of these tactics and techniques that I've heard bandied about because this institution needs to endure.
Now, Donald Trump, he fired back at those comments, and here's what he said yesterday.
I think his comments are ridiculous. I mean, they chop off heads and they drown people in cages with 50 in a cage, in big steel, heavy cages, drop them right into the water, drown people, and we can't waterboard and we can't do anything. And, you know, we're playing on different fields, and we have a huge problem with ISIS, which we can't beat. And the reason we can't beat them is we won't use strong tactics, whether it's this or other things. Can you imagine these ISIS people sitting around eating and talking about this country won't allow waterboarding, and they just chopped off 50 heads?
Here with reaction, former NYPD Detective Dietl, author of the brand new book, Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War, the Distinguished Chair of Military Theory at Marine Corps University, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. By the way, I love the book. It's awesome. You're a great military mind. We can defeat ISIS, but don't we first have to recognize they exist?
Totally. We have to talk about them honestly, get politics out of the threat assessment, jettison all this garbage about how it's unemployment and lack of education that makes people behead other human beings, and talk about the fact that these people are evil.
I remember the jobs program for terrorists?
Jobs for jihadis.
Jobs for jihadis, yeah.
Right.
Enhanced interrogation, specifically. We didn't get bin Laden without them. I interviewed Jose Rodriguez on this show. No, you wouldn't have found the Courier, which led us to bin Laden, without Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, KSM, giving that information after being waterboarded.
Right.
So,
we have to be factual here. Only 3 people underwent the enhanced interrogation techniques. In this case, it was crucial. I'm a little bit skittish about making it a policy across the United States. If there's a ticking time bomb, if there's something that's really, you know, if it's the #1 HVT, the #1 high-value target, I can understand it. But to say we just do it willy-nilly, that's another issue.
We've never done it willy-nilly.
No.
But with all your years, let's say you get called, you're a detective. Yeah. You get called out on a job, kidnapping. Yeah. 3 people enter somebody's house, a home invasion. Yeah. 2 of them get away with 2 children. The father or mother tackles the one other guy. He knows where they're taking those kids. How soon do you have to act to get those kids back?
Well, I mean, you got to act immediately. You know, I always use this thing, and if I'm the president and Brennan's my head of my CIA, and he makes a statement like that, I'd say, I tell you, Mr. Brennan, you don't have a job anymore. My point is, we should not be advertising what our CIA does. That's one. We can't blow up our mouths all the time when we do these things. It can be used in certain situations.
You mentioned the word evil. This is evil in our time.
Totally.
But there seems to be a mysterious reluctance, resistance from acknowledging that simple truth.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't believe in objective truth, if you are a champion of multiculturalism, then you're not going to say there's such a thing as evil. Remember, this is the administration that thinks you can negotiate with the mullahs in Iran, thinks that you can negotiate with the Taliban.
Now they're surprised that they didn't live up to their agreement.
I'm not surprised. I don't think you're surprised.
You know, I've been to Saudi Arabia 24 times from the late 70s through the 80s. I just learned the guy that I broke my leg with parachuting, his name was Fahad bin Turki bin Abdulaziz. He was a brigadier general in the Saudi army. He was just killed within the last year on the border of Yemen and Saudi Arabia. There are a lot of Saudi Arabian military people that are fighting Al-Qaeda, are fighting these Muslim terrorists right now. We have an ally in Saudi Arabia. There's another fraction in Saudi Arabia, and I can't pronounce them, the
Wahhabis.
Yeah, that's over there. And we go back to 1979 when they took over Mecca. Do you remember that?
Release the 28 pages that have been redacted from public view as it relates to 9/11, and you'll learn all about Wahhabism and the Saudis' involvement, correct?
1979 is where it all begins. Saudi Arabia,
right.
the siege of Mecca.
Exactly. I was there, and you know what we need? What we need is cooperation from the Muslim people to help fight these.
Well, you would hope so, but unfortunately, that has not been as forthcoming as we'd like. I love the book, Defeating Jihad, The Winnable War. Appreciate it, Bo. Good to see you.